Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. I did something unusual. I bought a new tool. Now I know I bought the hoist and I bought some other stuff. And mostly though it's support equipment. It's not a standalone piece. Something that I've been looking for quite a while is a battery operated grinder. And the prices were just crazy. By the time I bought the grinder from DeWalt, I have $300 in it by the time I got it shipped here. And I couldn't see doing that because I have multiple grinders. I have the big Hitachi 8-inch, and then I have the DeWalt 4.5-inch, and I have a Black & Decker 4.5-inch. So I'm well set for angle grinders. But I wanted to have something battery operated because, okay, I'm a scrapper. One of the things that I do is I go to Tractor Supply and pick up scrap. That means that I have to load it in the back of the truck, and sometimes it's just too big to go. And it's awkward to stack it in there because all the pieces are sticking out all over the place. It's a pallet that they ship 4x4s and lawnmowers and large items to protect them. And it's a big piece. So when it goes in the back of the truck, it's quite a fight. If I've got a grinder, I can knock it down. The thing that really brought that to a head was when I brought home the gate. They had a fence, a little fenced-in cube there that they put things in, and it had a gate on it. And somebody smacked the gate and broke it multiple times. It had been fixed a few times from the looks of it. And they finally just leaned it against the light post out back, and I asked if I could have it, and they said, yeah, go ahead. I've got a good working relationship with the manager. I've been going there and picking up their steel scrap for quite a while. Saves him the trouble having somebody haul it off, and works out well for both of us. So what I wanted to do was buy this battery powered angle grinder so I could take it there and at least lop it up into small enough pieces to get it in the truck. And there's other places that I could use it too. Well, I found one, and I looked at it and I thought, oh, that's 47 bucks. Now, you got to remember, I'm working on a budget. I'm working on whatever I can make per month from ads on this channel. That's what powers Old Sneelock's Workshop. It pays the bills. 2023, we did pretty well. 2024 tapered off quite a bit, and 2025 has been abysmal. I'm only making a third of what I was making. So I have to watch my money. So I ended up seeing this thing in ads. Comes from EFUS in Perth Amboy, New Jersey. Don't know who that is. Don't really care. I bought an angle grinder from them. Now you've probably seen ads for these. This is a AutoJare 20 volt brushless, and it's made to fit DeWalt 20 volt batteries. AutoJare 20 volts, 9,000 Newton meters per minute, 125 millimeter, M14 LDJMJ-DW. Now, I don't know anything about it other than what I read, and what I read was the things that they wrote, so you know, got to take that with a grain of salt because, you know, they're selling the things. So, I've got and the thread's a little loose on the spindle, kind of wobbly. Kind of lightweight. We'll have to see how much power it's got. Now, something that really gets me going is when somebody tries to hustle me. And by hustle, I mean tell me something is one thing and it's actually another. You can tell me that it's a cheap tool and you get what you pay for. Because I already know that. I understand and expect that. But when you tell me that it's going to be one thing and then the add-ons get to the point where you can't afford the thing, that sets me off. And what I was looking at, in reference to that little statement, I went to Walmart, and Walmart had a battery operated grinder, Hart, inexpensive brand. I would hesitate to say cheap because I don't know, I've never used a Hart piece of equipment before. But the price was reasonable, 27 bucks. And I said, wow, 27 bucks, that's pretty good. But then I thought, well, okay, I've got to find out how much a battery costs. Well, the battery costs about 60 bucks. And then the charger costs another 100 bucks. So by the time I got all done with the thing, I was paying $200 for, obviously, an inferior, in my estimation, an inferior product. Now, tonight I'm going to be testing a Hart product, and I'll have a better handle on whether their products have anything to stand up for them. But right now, I'm looking at this little bugger and I'm saying, okay, we're going to find out how well this works. I have to take off the nut. And mount on the guard. I know I've mentioned at least a few times that I don't like running a grinder without a guard. I avoid it whenever possible. Because the fiber wheels tend to explode when you put torque on them. And having a fiber wheel explode is a bad day. I don't care who you are or what you think. Having one of those things come apart at a high rate of speed will damage a lot of things. And sometimes you may think that it's necessary to remove the guard just for that one time. You know, you've got this thing that you just can't get to with the equipment that you have, so you're just going to do it once. Something happened to me, well, happened to a friend of mine while I was in the room. A good, let's see, I would have been 11 or so, and we were at my neighbor's house, and he had a table saw in the basement, the same kind of table saw that I have over there. He had wanted to try cutting some steel on it, so he bought a fiber wheel. Don't aim that at you, David. Cut away, cut away, cut away. There we go. Always got to be careful because the only guy protecting me is me. Now this Hart metal cutting diamond wheel is nothing like the wheel that he had on his table saw. And I'm hoping it won't have the same problem that he had on his table saw. Because he wanted to cut some 1/4 inch plate. And we had been using hacksaws. Just standard old 12-inch blade hacksaw, and cutting pipe and making parts for a go-kart. He decided he wanted to try and cut some 1/4 inch plate on that table saw. Put the abrasive wheel on it, and the abrasive wheel is the same as, this is a Tractor Supply, it's called a Job Smart, but it's a metal cutoff wheel. Tough aluminum oxide abrasive for more aggressive cutting edge, fully reinforced with fiberglass mesh for added safety and controlled performance. Now these work pretty good until you twist them. If they get pinched or twisted, they'll snap. So what he did when he was trying to use that table saw to cut a piece of steel, he put the piece of steel on top of the table. He used the miter gauge to push it so that he didn't have his fingers in the way. But as he pushed it across, the metal pinched a little bit because it was evidently under some stress. And as he cut through it, it came together and caught on the back side of the blade. As you're going through something, the front edge is spinning down, the back edge is spinning up. So as he got through there, the back end pinched shut, it grabbed a hold of that wheel, and it flung that piece of steel up in the air. Well, when it did that, it also broke the wheel. Piece of steel flying around in the shop's not a good thing. Broken wheel flying around in the shop. There was a 12-inch wooden beam going across the ceiling of the basement. A piece of that fiber wheel went up and stuck cross grain in that beam. Not with the grain, cross grain. And this thing is not hard. It just was going so fast that it went pop and up into that beam. It stuck there. Well, if that had hit one of us, we're a lot softer than a piece of wood, especially going cross grain. We would have had a piece of wheel stuck in it somewhere. So we said, that's a bad idea, don't want to do that again. You try and learn from the mistakes of others and try not to repeat them. Well, I use those kind of wheels. I've used a lot of them over the years. Well, Hart, the Walmart brand, had this metal cutting diamond edge 13,500 RPM metal cutoff wheel. So I said, okay, we're going to try it. Now on here, I just reading the thing. It has a little drawing. It shows the grinder should be held with the motor up, not flat. So we'll keep that in mind when we're doing things. Ideal for cutting soft and hard metals, including rebar, angle iron, steel, and stainless steel. 100 times longer life with diamond rim blade. Maintain a consistent cutting depth with solid steel core. Easily cut through metal with segmented steel blade. Compatible with 4.5-inch angle grinders with 7/8 inch arbor. Made in Cambodia, distributed by Hart Consumer Products Incorporated, Anderson, South Carolina. This product is a consumable item, therefore it is warranted against defective parts and labor only, and not from misuse or deterioration of the product through normal wear and tear. Warning: for paint removal in a pre-1978 home, a lead-safe certified renovator is required. For more information, visit EPA Government Lead or call 1-800-424-5323. So evidently, they're saying if you're using this to remove paint in a home that was built before 1978, you have to get somebody who will come in and have the proper credentials to do it. Certified by the EPA as lead removal. Well, I'm not going to do that with it, so I don't think I'm going to have to worry about that. After all, this is a metal cutting blade, and I'm going to cut metal with it. The bushing on there, I set the wheel on top. You want to set the nut with this cup towards the cutting wheel. That way it holds it down. Oh, that's got a stepper motor in it. That's how it's doing brushless. One of the things that I thought was good about this was it's a brushless motor. Let's see. I'm going to hold this away from my body, pointing away from me. Seems to be okay. Got a little gear noise in it, not the best. Battery wasn't clicked on yet. Okay, now it's fully clicked. I got 2 bars on the battery. This is a 5 amp hour battery. So let's put a piece of metal in this vise and we'll see if it cuts. Now, no flammable items around in the area. Nope, I'm good. face shield on because I don't want to have anything flying up and hitting me. When you're using a diamond wheel even, anything that has an abrasive edge on it, you want to be careful when you first start it because chips can fly off. They can have loose grit on there. And traveling at 13,500 RPM on a 4-inch wheel, that's moving pretty fast. Now I'm standing off to the back side of this thing. Because I don't want to have anything coming flying at me. Now something I see I'm going to need to do. This guard is up a little too high. So I unhook the battery so I don't accidentally press the trigger. And loosened up the guard. There. That should keep it off my fingers. There. Well, now we've cut that loose. Let's see if we got it enough to just snap this thing off. Yep. There we have a nice piece of angle iron. And that's a nice piece of scrap tubing. Now I want to try cutting off something. Well, that worked really well. Still got 2 bars on the battery. That's good. Okay. Got that taken care of. This cutoff wheel seems to cut pretty well. And the grinder itself, other than some really loud gear noise, seems to be doing just fine. Now let's try mounting a flap wheel on it and see if that works. Doesn't look like it's going to because that's the wrong size thread. Okay, this is for a much larger diameter arbor. So I don't think this is going to work. That's a kind of a bummer. It is what it is. Yeah, this definitely the wrong size arbor. I'm going to need an adapter, which I can probably buy somewhere because I'm sure other people besides me want to have a 5/8 11 thread on the end of their grinder. So let's try this again with a standard cutoff wheel. I've used these for quite a while. They seem to hold up well. Not having any major issues with them. And they are from the discount bins at Tractor Supply, so they don't cost much. Now this is a 2 amp hour battery, so it doesn't have quite the power long term. Same amount of amperage, same amount of voltage, but just not able to do it as long a term. Well, I think that did pretty good. I'm not having any problems with it. So I'm quite pleased with this grinder. 2 amp hour battery on it, it doesn't weigh much, but I don't think the battery's gonna last very long. I got the 5 amp hour battery because I use it on the impact driver. That was the only reason I got a 20 volt battery, was for the impact driver, because it 20 volts. But when I saw this one that said it would accept DeWalt batteries, I thought, well, I don't need to worry about an adapter then. All I got to do is just plug it in onto the battery that I already have. And I have a 5 amp hour and a 2 amp hour. I can have one on the charger, one on the tool, and I can run impact driver and grinder at the same time. So that's going to work out well for me. I'm going to see about getting a couple more DeWalt 20 volt batteries because I want to put an adapter on my 18 volt ones, 18 volt tools. I have the XR batteries for the 18 volt tools. They're just a little bit bigger battery, a little more amp hours in the battery. These drills are 20 years old, still working well. I don't abuse them like I used to do it when I did it for a living, when I used them for a living. But I haven't done that. I don't think I ever used, well, I did do that. I used Dad's 9 volt Makita battery operated drill motor, and that was a beast. I mean, it worked really good. It was nice for working on a ladder. You didn't have to worry about dragging a cord up or anything else. You just climbed up to the top of the ladder, pulled it out of the holster, drilled the hole you wanted to drill, and put it back into the holster. I've still got it. Dad gave it to me, and still got it. It works just great. I actually bought an extra one too. They had one down at the Restore, and I said, well, I've already got the batteries. The tool's cheap. Batteries are expensive. So I'm happy with the knockoff grinder. I'm happy with the Hart grinding wheel. This cuts much faster than the abrasive wheel. Both of them are brand new. Both of them start right out of the gun. The abrasive wheel cuts just fine. I don't have a problem with abrasive wheels. But if this is going to last longer, I think that's a good thing. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video or any of the other videos on the channel. Just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union without the express written permission of the parents or the legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.